All right. Oh wait, check a few things. Keep forgetting to do this. But so I watched Sonic 3 and Mufasa over the past few days. I was gonna make a video last night when like I was gonna make a video yesterday when I was done, but I instead of doing that I sat and I had to think about it. And the more and more I thought about it, I'm like sitting down, like, aha, I understand now. I understand now. I understand why Mufasa Lion King beat Sonic 3 at movie theater. I understand why Mufasa Lion King beat Sonic 3 in streaming. Sonic 3 was the worst of the three Sonic movies. It was bad. Like, at first, I'm like, okay, it's interesting. When I, like, literally, my first thought when I finished watching Sonic 3, it was like, okay, it's a 6 out of 10. It's passable. But the more I thought about it, the more I'm like, oh no. Oh no. So, while I was thinking about it, I replayed the whole movie in my mind. And here's why. The more I thought about it, the worse it got. Okay, so, if you don't, again, my head is going to really hate this, but I'm just going to be straight up honest with you. It's bad. It's not good. It's really not. So here's why. From I'm just gonna I'm probably gonna spoil the whole movie right now, but I'm gonna go through scene what I remember scene by scene from the start. So okay, after watching the movie, I was like, yeah, it's a 6 out of 10. It's passable. It's not so that bad. But then I thought about it more. And when I thought about Sonic, one, I'm like, okay, introduction movie, not the greatest, but good. 7 out of 10. Then I thought about Sonic 3. Okay, this Sonic 2 was a step up. Better action, more impact, everything. 8 out of 10. But then when I thought about Sonic 3, like immediately when I came out of it, I'm like, nah, Sonic 3 is a 6 out of 10 at best. And like I said, the more I thought about it, the more I realized, no, it's not. So, from the start of Sonic 3. Okay, the movie's been out over 6 months. You had a chance to watch it. I'm warning you. I give you multiple warnings. So, movie start. They're in a gun facility off the coast of Hong Kong. It was yeah, I believe it was Hong Kong. I mean, they tried to promote it in Hong Kong, China, and everything by using that as a backdrop. Did I help at all? So the movie start. They let you know gun was around for 50 years, but in Sonic 2, they say gun was established a year before because of things Sonic did in Sonic 1. Immediately, or broken. But I can chuck that up. Say, okay, the government do stuff like that where they was deny something exists when it gets exposed and everything. So I'm like, okay, say the government did that. They denied it. That's okay. Okay, I can see that. I can see that happen. The government died. But it get worse. It get worse. So they go into the island. You see they're there. They're established. maybe the problem that caused because nobody, you know, they've been there for 50 years, never really checked the system and stuff, blah blah blah. But this is something every government has been doing for years. Sensitive documents, sensitive stuff like that, and stuff like Sonic, not Sonic, Shadow would not be connected to the grid. It would have no outside ports. It would have no outside connection. They wouldn't even allow you to bring your phones in there. There will be nothing in there that can connect to the outside. And yet they got hacked. How? Just how? Second, while Shadow in that facility, the guards there that have been trained to keep him there literally did not do yet. They had zero impact. So, what was the problem with the guards? They grabbed their weapons. They did not put on a protective gear properly. It's glass. They had shadow behind glass and water. You know what you would have done as soon as you heard the alarm? You would put down your goggles and grab your weapons while running to them. You will have your goggles on. As soon as Shadow broke that glass, immediately you will open fire. You will not give him a second. What did they do? He broke the glass, they covered their eyes, and then he just jumped on them. And I'm like, zero impact. If they was not there, Shadow would just have left. Just left straight up. He would just have left. They had zero impact. But then they did the comic relief stuff with the guards. One guard you see gets smashed in the glass. At the scene before, you see him bounce off the glass. And when it pan over to the next cut, you see him stuck to the side of the railing. I'm like, but he just bounced off. I'm like, okay, no, no, I noticed him bounce off. I saw that bounce off. How did he get stuck to it? Okay. And then Shadow left. There was a giant explosion. If you know anything about that area, Hong Kong, and that whole region and everything, you know, as soon as they heard a giant explosion, that would have been reported on the news immediately. And they would have told you, look for anything suspicious and report it. So when Shadow would show up and said it, they would have reported him, and everybody would have left. But they didn't. And then then they show up in their equipment and their armored trucks and everything. And I'm like, what? The people would have been evacuated. There would have been reports out for them to stay inside and they'll evacuate that area immediately. So when an explosion happened, it would have been out and about immediately. They would not have later on. But somehow guns show up and then everybody leave after gun show up. So Shadow start throwing stuff around. They had a fight or whatever. And during that time, they went to get Sonic and his team. Okay. Why? I still don't know why. I have zero understanding on why they went and get Sonic and C. So my initial thought to why, I'm like, okay, maybe it was there to get there faster, but what would be the point to get there faster? You have your team on site. Sonic team, what would they have helped? So, okay, so Sonic team gets there. They jump out of the plane, they fall, they do all this other stuff. They land. And what did they do? What did they do? What help did they provide at all? The whole movie, after I said and thought about the whole movie, Sonic Team has zero impact. Well, zero positive impact most of the movie. Maybe the whole movie if you really think about it. They had zero positive impact. The way they did that had zero impact on the movie. Because soon as Sonic Team get there, Shadow throw a truck at them. Why did he throw a truck at them? You find out immediately why. They came out of the the gun helicopter. So he attacked them just because they were with gun. That's it. If they were not there, they would have not been the attack at all. At all. You know what would have happened at that point? Shadow would just have left. He was straight up. If they didn't show up in a gun helicopter, Shadow would have left right then and there. But they show up. Okay, bam, they show up. They talk a lot of stuff, which was I had zero impact. It was more insulting to Sonic at the end of the day. Then when Shadow told them to leave, they didn't. Knuckles wanted to fight because it's Knuckles. Cool. Here's the fun thing. I like Knuckles more than I like Sonic. I like in order. Knuckles is so much better. He is funny. He is interesting. He's an interesting character. But I would not. I did not have. I honestly. I did not finish watching the show. You want to know why? Because in the show, the sister was more interesting than both of the leads. And as soon as that happened, I'm like, yeah, I would rather watch a show more about sister than them. But I got to the last episode. I'm like, yeah, I had to take care of something. When I came back to finish watching, I'm like, yeah, I don't really feel like watching anymore. Yeah, because the sister, they're the one of the main lead sisters in the show, because Tuli is Shadow and somebody else. His sister was more interesting. His family was more interesting than both of them, and I'm like, why? Why did I'm like I will be more interested in knowing the family dynamic better than I was interested in the story and Shadow Knuckles show, and I uh so okay, so back to the movie. After they got there, Shadow's body still. Knuckles wanted to fight. Knuckles went at it. Shadow teleports, combo him, knock him down. Sonic said he can't take all of us on at once. Then Shadow takes them all at once. Blah blah blah. And then so Shadow break out. Terrible. Shadow and Sid terrible. Sonic team showing up, terrible. Sonic team getting bodied the first time. Okay, wow. And then the scene from the trailer come out with Shadow jump on a motorcycle and pick up a laser gun. And I'm like, why though? But why? You can move faster than a motorcycle. You you don't need the gun at all. And then they start fighting on a. They had a chase fight. Okay, I'm like okay. And then during the chase fight, all I can say is Shadow, you can run faster than this. You can literally run on water, and Sonic can't. Why do you have this bike? Why do you have the gun? What is the point? You could have literally been gone by the time Sonic caught up to you. He was at base speed. Sonic Shadow is basically good at even when it comes to base speed. Sonic is probably a little faster at base speed if he really pushes himself, but Shadow, without his hover boots or hover shoes, is on par with Sonic. No, Shadow without them is much slower than Shadow with them. Basically, friction is Shadow' biggest enemy. So while he's running, he's slow while his hover shoe, but with him, he's faster. Plus, he can fly with his type of shoes. A lot of people don't know that he can literally fly with those type of shoes. It weighs more energy of the whole shoe, but he can fly with. He can literally just leave sun. Okay, they on the motorcycle. They're fighting. I'm like, why are you on the motorcycle? You can get off. Then he started teleporting. Like you can get off and run fast and teleport and still and leave sun. So what was the point? Okay, so they fight. Finding is talking. I'm like, seriously, it's really not the point to do this much talking and stuff. I'm like, okay. Then they fight. They get to the top of a building in Hong Kong while fighting, and they shadow teleport, rise up the building, where which again, even if you ride a motorcycle at full speed, you would not get enough weight and stuff to do that. But okay, he's teleported. Maybe he keep it on the building by teleport. Okay. Then he gets to the top of the building, turns sideways, go off the top of the building, which again, you will not have enough speed to go that high. And then they both charge up a punch, and Sonic get hit, just get body yet again. He get basically one hit knockout. Shadow hit him so hard, and their impact caused a clash to cause a power outage in the whole city for at least a couple of minutes. For Knuckles and Tails to get there for at least a couple of minutes, the power was out. Sonic was down for at least a couple of minutes. I'm like, yeah, no, that was terrible. Because from that whole start, the guards didn't need to be there to fight against Shadow when he broke out because they did nothing. He was just left. Team Sonic didn't need to be there when Shadow while Shadow was there because if they literally didn't show up and did nothing, he was just left. And it caused a power outage. I'm like, okay, this is terrible. But then it gets even worse. Uh, is it the general? I can't remember his rank. I really don't care because it's just that bad. So they went to a basically child play areas to, relax and stuff. The general, I believe it was the general. I can't remember. He's from the second movie. Uh, was he in the first movie? I don't remember really. I remember him in the second movie. I don't remember the first movie. But anyway, the General Gun. I can't say he was a good chance he was in the second movie because as they say in the second movie, Gun was established the year before. Oh, no, I did that. Gun was established the year before for Sonic, but in this movie, Gun was established 50 years before. I'm like, okay, that just that what? And now I'm like mixing lore because they say it two different times. So they show up immediately. Another problem happened. The general started talking about top secret information in a children play place. In a children play place, no government would ever let you do that. Immediately he would be court martialed. Immediately you lose all of his rank. Immediately, even if he was dead, he would have been thrown out the military immediately for doing that one day. No government, no military will let him do that at all. But he's there spilling secrets. I'm like, no, 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 no. And then egg drones came and attacked him, right? And I'm like, what? Why? And then I had to look up. I looked at the place, and there's no way those egg drones came up from the bottom like that. Because any of those places like that, especially with children safety, they wouldn't be that high up. Maybe the second floor at high, maybe, but they were there. I'm like, dude, it's just got worse. And then, okay, the drone was attacked. Um, Sonic said, "Get down." People got shot at and everything. And I'm sitting there like, okay, the drones had Sonic and everything in their sight. Just open fire. There was no literally. Everybody else got evacuated. I don't think they hit any other people. But you have Sonic and a team in your sight. Just open fire. Just start shooting. Why are you not shooting? Okay. Or again, guards then start shooting. The drones then start shooting. Then oh boy from Sonic 1 and 2 show up. The secretary shows up and start disabling a boss. Immediately, once the first bot was disabled, they will have locked on him and started shooting. I'm like, okay, start shooting. Why are you not shooting? What's the point of this? Why is you allow him to hack the boss and bring them down and you're not shooting? I'm like, no, no, no. It was established in Sonic. Even if you don't go by Sonic 1, even if you don't go by the Knuckles show, it was established that those boss, as soon as they sense danger, as soon as you sense a threat from anything, they will immediately start shooting. They will not give him any time to hack them. They will immediately lock on him and start shooting. But they did it. I'm like, just you could tuck him out. Okay, General, he hacked them. They didn't leave, and they were like, yeah, we just had already have a bike scene. We just already have a bike fight scene. I'm like, what? This breaking the fourth wall. Okay. So, General got hurt. I don't know how, but okay, General got hurt. Concrete fell on him. That would have hurt you if it fell on your own. Plus, if you're probably older, it probably would did more damage. But then that caused another problem later on because he gave one of the keys. First of all, why are you carrying one of those keys on you at all? At the end of the day, that would be at best, most likely, two furthest points in the world to keep it from being used. They'll be probably on both sides of the furthest point that you can have them apart in the world. So he had one of the keys on him. He gave it to Team Sonic. Why? I don't know why. I really don't know why. It just like don't give it to them. Why are you giving to them? So if he didn't give them the key, they wouldn't have known about it. He could have just told them to not let them uh do anything. Matter of fact, if he didn't tell them about the key and didn't give it to them, and they chase after a boy on a motorcycle, they would not have the key, not cause problem later on in the movie. Again, they had zero impact on all of that up to for the first few scenes of the movie. This is the first few scenes. They had zero impact. They had basically when Shadow attacked them, them being there was already more negative impact than that. But from that point, outside that point, they had zero impact on everything. So them being a child garden and them being they attacked them in the child garden. negative impact, they shouldn't be there. That was what is this? What is this? Okay, so now they have the key. The first thing they do is they carry the key around with them. They went to they chase after a boy on a bike, which by the time they escape and everything, that should have been minutes at least, minutes. So there was no way for them to catch up. And then when they were chasing after them, I noticed they jumped from one side of the city to another side of the city. I'm like, okay, okay, no, they are too far apart. There was no way to get that pair from that way. No, Sonic and Knuckles, the Sonic team would have caught up to him before he even got to that point. Okay, okay, me movie magic. I'm struggling to give Sonic 3 as much leeway as possible, but it made no sense up to that point. Okay, so they get on the crab. Why it's a crab? Okay, maybe a crab, whatever you want to call it. I don't know why it's a crab. I mean, I know why. I don't know why it's there. Okay, they get on it. Ivo Robotnik. Yeah, he looked like somebody who was down and out. He doesn't want to be there. He ain't wait. You know, he was upset because you lose multiple times in a row. You tend to get down and you want to relax and just get out of it. Okay, I understand it. They get in there. First of all, he will have noticed the he will have noticed it was moving. Straight. So he would notice that, oh boy, it's back. And but I can say he wasn't really thinking about paying attention. He was watching the show. He was deep in the show. But okay, that's understandable. I can't again. I try to waste so much of it off. I try to waste so much off, and it just didn't help. Okay, you came with the key. You're in your enemy's one of your enemy's base of operations, and he easily found where they were. Which, if they was able to hack your egg drones and do all of that, they would have been able to hide their location. If they were smart enough to hack your stuff, they would have been able to hide their location. That would immediately set off red flags for me. Because I'm like, if they can hack my stuff, why was it this easy for me to find them? Immediately red flags. So he had to get cleaned up, get dressed, and so on. Okay, his outfit doesn't fit him anymore because he gained weight. So he uh is the whole scene was about the telenovela he was watching. Okay, so he gained weight, he's gonna get an outfit. He gave him like he needed it tailored and changed. He ripped off his shirt and like innovative. I'm like, okay, that's just Jim Carrey being Jim Carrey. I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine. Jim Carrey being Jim Carrey, that's fine. That's interesting. I honestly like Sonic and Jim Carrey. I I just it wasn't there. It was just not there for me. They finally meet and like immediately I didn't like Sonic the whole movie. Sonic was more annoying than anything. Shadow was just not it. I Keanu Reeves, I'm like, okay, Keanu Reeves could work. But then the more I'm listening, I'm like, it's just not fitting for Shadow. I just didn't. It just was not fitting. He sounds so soft and raspy. I'm like, I can barely hear him talk for most of the movie. And then there's Tails and Knuckles. Knuckles, top tier, best of them all. Tails, second best. He was interesting, but Eggman and the assistant. I'm like, assistant more interesting than Eggman. Like you feel the emotion that the assistant is going through the whole movie. Ivo, I'm gonna try to keep them separate because it's Gerald and Ivo. Ivo, eh. First movie, funny. Second movie, okay, still got it. Third movie, eh, okay. Okay. He got dressed, got an outfit, and okay. So they found him. So they went to okay. So first place they was in Tokyo. Why is he in Tokyo? I don't know. He had no reason to be there, but they were hacked. The system was hacked. Maybe they went to Tokyo after they noticed some weird stuff, and so on. Maybe they was already there, but if they're already there, why though? No reason. Okay, so they there. Um, they got dressed. They found the location was a bunker. They went to the bunker, not prepared at all. And this is another reason why I say Knuckles was the best. Knuckles went in there, Knuckles. He went in there straight Knuckles style. He's like, oh, this is a 6 inch thick Thor. First of all, why is it 6 inch thick? You know, any military place anything for something like that would have been over at least a foot thick. Okay, 6 inch thick. Old Thor, probably from old records and stuff. Not really thick. Knuckles broke the Thor down. We established earlier in the movie that the Thor opened by pulling. Okay. So him punching the Thor down, you have to break the hinge and everything. So I can say that Knuckles can do that. That's possible. But it would still be better if he just ripped the door open and pull it back. Okay, so they went into the abandoned military bunker and they split up. I hate the split up trope so much. Like Scooby Doo, I can't understand with Scooby Doo. When Scooby Doo split up, Scooby and Shaggy is the bait. Why? Because they're the fast. If you don't know, Shaggy got at like a 30-foot leap. He can jump. He jumped off a ladder. 20. You can say 25 to 30 feet. He jumped off a ladder, 3 floors. Oh, grab on to the windowsill, swung himself up, threw himself in, and then fell 5 story, like 5 stories, because it was a roughly 5, maybe 6 story building. He had a ladder that was 2 stories tall. He then proceeded to jump up 3 stories, grabbed the window on the third story, swung himself in, and then immediately fell 5 stories from that window and was fine. So them split out. They have a great thing which can run fast, and Shaggy which can keep up with Scooby Doo. Them split up, I can understand. Them two as bait because they have the speed to get away and like is flexible and distracting. They are clever, but when those five split up, I could not find a reason for them to split up at all. At all. So Ivo suggested a split up. that would have made sense. You know, if it wasn't for the fact that it was, if Ivo Robotnik said, okay, Sonic and me go one way, Shadow, Knuckles, and my sister go the other way. That would have made sense. But for his best optimization for him to do whatever he wants, him and his sister go one way, those three go another way. Separate them as teams. Okay, I can see why he would do that. That would make sense. You know, that would make sense. Try to optimize best for you. But he would have been smart enough to know if he did that, Sonic would not agree with that. So what he would have done was what I say is he say, okay, he will pick one of them, Sonic or Knuckles, or even any one of them, Sonic, Knuckles, or Tails, to go with one. Go with him, his assistant, and the other two go together, or two go with him and one go with Sid. Most likely, if he would have done this, he would say, okay, Sonic and Tails go with me, Knuckles and my assistant go the other way, because he know that in a situation his assistant had no win against Sonic or Knuckles or Tails. He had no win situation against all three of them, right? But the best likely situation he had from the knowledge he just received from them is send him with Knuckles. Because, as it was established right before that, Knuckles hate ghosts. Knuckles is afraid of ghosts. He literally said, he literally have hate ghosts because he's like, there's no such thing as a friendly ghost. After they show that he then watch the Casper, he's like, there's no such thing as a friendly ghost. I'm like, okay, you just got some king information. So what you would have done, you would send your sister off with Knuckles and send Sonic and Tails with you. Perfect. Perfect setup for your sister to get away and do whatever. Because if a ghost or something come around, uh, he was, you can say they broke up because a ghost and everything, and that would give his assistant grounds to do whatever he wants. I get that straight up. Good. Good plan. That would have been a good plan. He also even kept Sonic and Tails away from the system. But what did they do? So Sonic and Ivo went right. Tails and the assistant went left. Knuckles went down the middle by himself. You just established Knuckles have a fear of ghosts. Why did you have him go off by himself? You just saw that Knuckles, you and Tails got your asses beat by Shadow. If y'all going to their base, it's effectively another ass whooping. So Shadow found Knuckles by itself, fighting him again. It was even a fight they showed on scene. Sonic and Ivo got split up. Sonic gets bodied again. But Shadow and Assistant got attacked as well. Tails get bodied again. The Assistant got caught up in a mess. Shadow tied up Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails together. Why? No reason. Should have tied them up separate. He also tied up the assistant. Okay, I understand why the assistant got caught. He was with Tails. Shadow had no indication of who he was, so understandable. That's understandable. So once that was established that he's Ivo's assistant, easily untied, done. Understand. Why did you tie up Sonic, Tails, and Shadow together? Should have tied them up separately. You know how they work together. So, in the facility, they drop a. After they got tied up, they dropped a mini black hole. Why? Don't know. No reason to. Could have just flown out left and left them tied up there. They would have found a way to break out. Okay. Okay, if they will find a way to break out, okay, you can deal with them later. But if you just left them there tied up to the pillar, if you tied them up separately, even better. You kind of got it out, caused no damage, leave no traces of you be there. And what would have happened? They would either, if they broke out, once and ever they break out, if I still find a way to break out. Because you didn't tie them up separately, they find a way to break out. Tie them up separately, they might find, they less likely to find a way to break out. You don't drop a mini black hole on them, so all the stuff break around them and suck them in, and they get a way to break out. So, he did drop a mini black hole on them, and they got a way to break out. Sonic thought it was a good idea to trick shot the ring. Why? I don't know. I really don't know. It was a terrible idea. He should have just thrown straight forward. There would have been safe. There would have been no attention. Literally, most of the movie, the stuff from okay, first part, no impact. Second part, no tension would have happened. Sonic just didn't play around. Straight up. So they brought out a facility. Their readings had no life forms. But here's the problem. They teleport directly outside of the facility, and your reading had no life forms in that facility. Your machine would have picked them up immediately. Oh, look, life form directly outside the facility. They escaped. But you can say, okay, before the black hole was finished, they escaped, and then before they scanned for life form, they got out and went home. Okay, you can say that. That can be that's a plausible possibility. So by the time they scanned, there was no life form. Or first of all, they should have been scanning the whole time to make sure. Okay, they said they got out. They went home. The two human character, I don't know how long they was gone for, but it felt like they were gone for a week, which I can see understandable because how long it took them to get from Hong Kong to that facility probably would take a few days if they went by sea. So it would take a few days. Okay, they got to the facility, they crawl up, they went into the facility. I can see that. That's a possibility. That's a possibility. Okay, so they went home, they got the humans, they realized during okay, I forgot one thing. During the time when they was captured, uh Gerald and Ivo, the Robotniks finally meet. They spoil Gerald reveal when he ran into Knuckles. What they should have done, it just had his voice on screen. They should have never shown him at all. No reveal from him. Have his voice on screen. Have his voice in the background. That's it. That's all you should have done. Don't show his face. Don't show his body. And immediately the next scene when he revealed himself to Ivo, that's the first time you should show it. That should have been first time. So first time you see Ivo, meet Gerald. That should be the first time you seen Gerald. Okay, so Gerald finally meet Ivo. They start talking. They start going over nerd stuff and hit out. Okay, problem. You kind of get the spoiler to the end of the movie when they first meet, and the end of the movie was bad. So they meet, they go over their plans and everything, and Daryl said, "No, the reason you found me because I led you here." Immediately, first of all, I would have red flags from the start because it's too easy to find them. Secondly, as soon as he said that, I would have more red flags. But first time I vote for one of his family members. Oh, understandable. Understandable. I can say that's understandable. He wasn't thinking straight. I can give him that. But he had a bunch of questions and like, where have you been all my life? Then wait a minute. Where have you been all my life? I'm like, yeah, that's should have been the question you asked. Okay, he was in prison. Okay, chalk that up. Like you can see how I am literally trying to give time so much leeway on so much stuff, but I couldn't turn off my brain for it. It was so much stuff, so many problems for it that I could not turn them off. So they meet, they start talking, they do their thing. Um, he immediately switched sides. No red. I would have red flags from the get go. When they have really switched sides like that. So when Knuckles, Sonic, and Tails are captured with the assistant, they walked up and they went over like, oh, like we'll ever bring the key with us. I'm like, there was established you went from the child play place to uh Ivo Robotnik ship. There was no stopping between. So you had to have the key with you. So they immediately knew you had the key. Okay. So what was the point of trying to deny you have the key when you never went off anywhere to drop off the key out? They shouldn't have gotten the key in the first place, but okay, so they have the key. Ivo and Gerald took the key, went off to London, which Sonic went off home, grabbed both humans, which I honestly, if again, the humans had little to no impact in the movie, so I can see why they had the shooter was so short. The humans had literally zero to no impact in the movie. So they went to get the humans, made a plan to break into steal the second key. Again, why? It's a well fortified facility. You didn't even know what was in the last room. That's how well they scrubbed their system. It was safe. It didn't need you. You didn't need to be there. Why did you have to go there? So again, this part they had negative impact. Oh, the more I think about this, the more it get worse. So they went to the facility. They went in the facility. They brought the humans with disguises. Where did they get the disguises from? Okay, don't know. Never established it. Maybe Tails made it. Maybe they made it from the second movie. Don't really establish any of that. I don't know. That's what's the problem. Okay, so they got disguised. They got changed and everything. They did Shamal more dirty. It was. They did both of them dirty. That scene with them was terrible. It was terrible. It was so bad. It was so bad. It was so bad. Okay, so That okay. So let me get out of the scene. So they went to the uh guy headquarters disguise. First, Jamal Moore, established, undercover, would have had a high rate. She was it? I almost forgot to look at this up. Military ranking. Uh, I think it's is it E1 or E3? I can never remember now. No, E5. Not the lowest. Let's say E5. Sorry. So it's E1. I can never remember which order it is. So E1. So E1. She would have been most likely recruited as an E1. E1 is a low military rank. You just basically you barely pass. I am like I think you can only go up to E5 when you're being recruited, but she would have came in as an E1. Here I don't like it, but they do this because uniforms are basically bulk order for different sizes. They are bulk order. Her size, they will have to get custom bulk made order for her. I don't like it, but because of that bulk order, because her size and everything, they would have had to get custom made for her. She would have started at the lowest rank, which is again as I just showed you E1. She would start way and above. So she wouldn't have had the authority to be in the facility like that. She was not have been high. But I can also say she would probably got a bump up in rank because dear Lord, she can fight. Again, I'm not religious, but I'm just saying, Sonic 2, whoo, she could fight. She was established to be a fighter, so she probably would have got bumped up to E5 starting. A year or so later, she would have been bumped to E6, E7 easily, because she can't fight. She she has the chops. So I can give her a year. Say she got bumped up to E7. She was on her way. But Shamal Moore character was still been a higher rank than her. So they were got in based on his credential. I can understand that. But again, she would have not been long enough to be established that well. So they got in the facility. They hacked this. They got in the facility. They found the place. First of all, uh, outside communication shouldn't work in the facility. Immediately red flags. Any outside communication would have been caught by the scanners, and they would immediately have been tracked down, and you would never saw them again. So another problem. Okay, I can get old building. I can just chalk it up to being an old building and give it time so much leeway. So after that, they got to the service room. They went in to hack the system. Why did they notice the other USB port, other USB thing sticking out until it was convenient? If you were walking out from the other side, you would have saw something stick out immediately. That would have been a red flag. Even if there was protected gates, by the time you walk up, you're like, "Hey, what is this?" Immediately, da 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 da. You have seen it was either Robotnik or the Robotnik is one of them stuff. No, you would have put your stuff in at all. You have tucked theirs out. You would then would have plausible deniability to say you was there because you was worried that Ivo was hacking the server to get the second key. That would give you a plausible deniability. That they'll give you, they will have to give you some leeway on that right there. That would have saved you so much head. But because you inject your flat drive in there, now they have proof that you hacked their system and brought down their protective shielding. Again, negative impact to the store. If you didn't brought down protective shield, there would have been no problems. So you brought down the protective shield to get Sonic in. So let's do this. Sonic was on the Ferris wheel in London. So this is the location of that exact Ferris wheel. It's already on the river. It's on the river, right? The gun facility, no matter where you look at it, if the gun facility was on this side of the river, all Sonic had to do was go from this Ferris wheel, run straight down these streets, and been to this side of the city. I again, here's why I say that. Maybe it was here. If it was here, look how far it is. He just could have ran down the street, made a left, and been there quick. 5 seconds at most. So I had to get built out. Maybe they was farther away. And here's the problem. The only other place nearby that had a footbridge is not in London. You have to go all the way out here. All the way out. Look how far you away from the city at that point. And guess what? Even if this right here took Sonic 5 seconds to get to, this over here would take him all the way over here, would have taken him maybe 15 to 30 seconds at most. But here's the problem. It was established that, you see this tower? It was close to this tower. So that means it had to be around here. So Sonic ran all over the city just to get back here and bear and almost didn't get into the shielding. Sonic 3 was a terrible movie. There's no denying it was terrible. It's the kind of movie that if you turn off your brain, you may think it's good, but it's terrible. I'm just getting to the halfway point, and I'm telling you right now, the more I think about it, the worse it gets. Sonic, if Sonic was serious, he would have ran straight down and went straight to the facility and got it no problem. But he caused all that tension for nothing. So he got in the facility and again helped with nothing, caused more problems, and put people in danger. So, got a facility, ran up. This is where them having the first key caused so many problems. When they got in the facility, they broke the system, did all of that, right? So they got to the last room. Ivo and Gerald was already there. They established the laser was already at head height. They established the laser would just shred anybody who touched it. The laser immediately when Gerald was pushed into it by Ivo, did not aim at the head. Don't know why. It just didn't aim at the head, and it was terrible because it was all just established the scene during that same scene that it was aimed at the head. It was established that it was aimed at the head, and I'm like, please, there's no way. So they dance. The dance in start out entertain. It would have been entertainment if I did notice that the laser was aiming ahead. Now they're not aiming at ahead. They're not even aiming at any. Uh, they're literally just following the suit and their body part. So I'm out of it. So the dance happened. I'm like, ah, because of what happens right before that. I'm out of the dance. So again, if they didn't dance, they would have been in that area fast. Did not need a dance. It was just added entertainment. All right. So Sonic and Team hacked the system. They got in. And how did they get in? Because Sonic Team hacked the system. They brought down the system, which allowed them to get in through the door. Okay. So that area had no connection to outside. So the door got open. They broke into the door immediately because nobody knew they had it. There was gravity, basically gravity binds. So you walk in, red pulls you to the ground, green lifts you up. Literally, the two counters took out both of them. So F F. You didn't have the credentials or the clearance to be there, or maybe some of the equipment. It would not have recognized you, and you would have been immediately stuck to the ground. It would have been enough to keep you there, but it probably wouldn't have been enough to kill you. Or it would have been enough to lift you up, but it wouldn't have been enough to shoot you off to the ceiling. So, so they got there. Sonic did all of that, caused so much tension for no reason. Okay, so they got a facility. They broke into the facility. They already in the facility. They made it there. They finally in the last row. If Sonic Team was not there, Ivo would have been arrested. Ivo and Gerald would have been arrested, and it would have been over. Movie done. There. Boom. Arrested again. Captured again. Done. Over with. So, every point up until now, there was literally no impact Sonic Team made at all. Shadow couldn't get in because of the shielding preventing him from teleporting in. They established the same thing with the wormhole rings. I can't understand that. So they couldn't bring in Shadow. He was too in, he wasn't able to get in the facility. He wouldn't have been able to teleport in because he didn't know what was behind the door. So Jero and the humans had to go in. That's understandable. But they did not need to be there at all. Ivo and Jero go in. They get captured. They get thrown in a chair. Movie over. Every step of the movie would have been over within seconds because Sonic Team had negative impact on the movie. I'm going to keep saying this because the more I thought about it, the worse it got. So they got a facility. They had to rival trapped down and Knuckles. Oh, I love Knuckles so much, but no. So this is also why the whole scene fall apart because Knuckle he literally punched through that very same shielding that they say would have eviscerated Sonic. And he took no damage. He punched through the shield, through the building, and immediately hit where they were in the building. Okay, maybe it was lying. They were lined up. That's understandable. He broke Big Ben. Nah, dog. Nah, dog. No. And Big Ben was the wrong color. No, no. He broke Big Ben. And Big Ben was the wrong color. Big Ben is blue. Big Ben had a major upgrade in recent times. If you look, if you probably can't see it clearly, but I'm gonna try. I'm trying to pull up a picture for you. Look at what color Big Ben is. It's blue. In the movie, it was black. So they did zero research. And then if you didn't notice, some of the scenes it was blue, some of the scenes was black. Elizabeth Tower, Big Ben. I believe it was 2000. Was it 2000? 2000 and when was it updated to be blue? It was cleaning. Yes, they were cleaning. They repaired it, but I believe it was yes, 2017 they updated. So it will clean it and restore in 2017. Literally years before Sonic 3 came out. It was being restored and updated for to 2007. Hmm. So December 2001 is when the first Sonic came out. 2001 when the first Sonic came out. This is showing how I look. Oh, they also broke Patty there. They was restoring it. Big Ben. It's blue now. It's blue. It's been restored and cleaned and everything, and it's blue. It's blue now. It was black in the movie. The more I think about it, the more I'm disappointed in the Sonic 3. It was a giant disappointment. If you don't know, I have a science degree in building and construction technology. So, yeah. When I saw they didn't even get Big Ben, I try to excuse so much. But this is unexcusable because the update and restoration was established before Sonic 1 came out. The update and the restoration what happened before Sonic 1 came out. So it would have been on the news. If you went to the area to have shots and everything for reference and stuff, it would have been on the news that it changed. It's not black anymore. And the movie is still black. You already established that Sonic 1 is set around 2020, 2000, 2019, 2020, somewhere around there. So, yeah, the movie is set with all three movies are set within the 4 years of between the movies coming out. That means the movies are linear. That means they would have known about Big Ben being restored in the movies. So Knuckles broke Big Ben. I whatever. I do. I can't excuse it, but it just I'm moving on. I have to move on. So Knuckles broke it, Big Ben, broken the gun facility, caused a lot of problems, almost got everybody there killed. Then he got the pad, smashed the pad, and just caused more problems. Literally, negative impact. Then they finally shut down the pad, shut down the gravity sensors. Again, immediately, Tails, and Shadow get body. They grab the key. They got the key. She got the key. She left. She got out of there. He left after her and somehow still caught her and had his arm wrapped up. He disguised himself as the general with a sling, with his arm in a sling. Okay, so as the general body will have been collected, examined, and all rank and information about the general will be in the mark as deceased or missing action immediately. So by the time they got to the facility, and even if that was all happened in one day, which it wasn't, even that all happened one day, all of the general credential and everything will be disconnected within one day. So she would immediately know it was not the general and would not have gave him the card. She would have immediately not straight up body him because she would have known. So she gave him the card. He left, dropped his disguise, put it back up, so he can say his voice. He put it back up. Shadow shows up, bodies him. Why? Okay, so here's another. Shadow hit him in the chest. So, immune. What injury should he have after being hit in the chest by Shadow? So, uh, two things came to mind. He would have whiplash, concussion, but he had a broken arm. I don't know why. I understand that he had a broken arm in real life. Like, I'm gonna try to pull him up. Uh, Yet this is what I'm saying. I would understand if he had a broken arm in real life. There's no evidence that he had a broken arm in real life. Like, what evidence did he have a broken arm in real life? Why did he have a broken arm in the movie? What reason was there for the broken arm? I don't know. Maybe it was trying to be disguised, but it made zero sense. Why did he have a broken arm? What reason? Why? Somebody tell me why. Ain't nothing but a heartbreak. But why did he have this plane? Where did this plane come from? What was the reason for it? What was the reason for it? I literally need to know because it made zero sense. Okay, so he got Will to the hospital. Humans out of the movie at this point. Sonic went to get the Chaos Emerald. Why? It's okay. I can say he went to get the Chaos Emerald. Did not have any. Didn't know Shadow can also get a boost from the Chaos Emerald. Wouldn't have took no risk. So they went to get, he went Sonic went to get a Chaos Emerald. Oh boy, was using it as a hockey puck. Mm. The amount of energy and radiation I think it would have done him slapping around like that, he would have died. Unless it's been used for long enough to where it's just stable now. Immediately, as soon as you use it as a hockey puck like that, he would have died. So he must have been using it for a while. But you know, Knuckles is not the brightest. So he most like all you have to do, you didn't even need to act it. He most likely would hide in the people, the few people and places you know. Just run through and check all of them. You will find it eventually. It wasn't even taking you that long. You didn't need to ask Shot Knuckles. First place you could have went is, oh, he had a show. Immediately go to who he went in the show with and found him. He gonna stop you from taking him, and you know that. So he went super Sonic. Wow. Disappointment. We already had established in the last movie he could do it, but it was just a disappointment in this movie. So he went supersonic and he flew up to the egg spaceship. Egg carrier. I honestly don't want. Okay, so let's look at the name of it. The Eclipse Cannon is called the Eclipse Cannon, but the way they were saying it was Eclipse Cannon. Oh. So they got both keys for the Eclipse Cannon. They put them in. They went off and flew up. One, they put them into the Eclipse Cannon. You realize they only put in one card, so they didn't need the second one. If you needed two cards, here what they would do. They would make sure that the both spots of where you put the cards in was far apart, so you couldn't use one person to put the card. You literally need two people to put them in. That's what made sense on why they need two people. And I noticed that they had looked like they had a second console behind them. So you have need two people to put those both into the same console within a second of each other. Both consoles within a second of each other. They put one in. They didn't need a second one. So they got the ship. They flew up. Sonic went found the Chaos Element. Went super. Flew up to the Eclipse Cannon. And this is where we get Gerald's whole reason. Gerald was there to just nuke the planet and kill everybody. It's already over 8 million. Let me see if yeah, already over 8 million, right? 2011 it was over 7 million. It's over 8 million now today. It's over 8 million. I mean, this 2 years ago, but it's over 8 million today. Nine. I'm sorry, 8 billion. So, and 11 years ago, it reached 9 billion. He wanted to destroy the Earth because of one death and literally kill eight over 8 billion people had zero cause, zero impact in that death. He wanted to nuke everybody because of one death. And here's the thing: they had a flashback, and the reason I didn't go on a flashback because I honestly did not like the flashback. They had a flashback to Knuckles and sorry, they had a flashback to Shadow and Marie. And that's when I noticed, at that point, when I noticed, I didn't even know they had most of these songs going on. Like, they had 33 songs. I did not notice most of them. I didn't even notice them. Here's why. You see how short those songs are? By the time I noticed they were going on, they were already over. Then there was some songs that went on for longer. I had zero feeling for those songs. I had zero feeling for those songs, and they had no impact on me. So this song by the Beach Boys, there's only two songs I recognize and had any interest in. And here's the problem with it. It was this song by the Beach Boys. I think I'm trying to see. Did it? Is it here? I think this is a song. It had to be a song. This is the song I remember. I probably gotta watch it again. But uh, when they met Maria, did I miss it? This song came up and it felt like it was the longest song, and I was like, it lasts is way too long. It was a montage of flashback with Shadow and Maria, and Shadow looked like he didn't want to be there at all, and I was sort of like, yeah, I'm out of it. I'm just out of it. It was that bad. It just took me out of that. During the movie, I know Sonic. I know Shadow and Maria Lord. Shadow and Maria Lord is Maria had an illness. In the movie, I don't remember ever hearing them talk about Maria illness at all, and it threw me out of it. Was this the song? I don't remember which one it was. But I get look how short most of these songs are. Didn't even know they were going on. And people were like, oh, it was so hype. And oh, I'm like, I don't remember most songs. Like literally the only two songs I could was remember is like what is one of the song, Wouldn't It Be Nice? And what was the other song? Uh Live and Learn. And I sit there like, wait, how long did these songs last? Because I don't remember most of these songs. None of these songs made an impact. It was so during the flashback, they had that flashback with Maria went on way too long. And then they start talking on grass and escape the facility, talk on the grass and stuff. I was already checked out of it. That flashback I had zero interest in because of the montage they put before it. Took me out of it. Zero interest in it. I was checked out. So they used that as motivation for Shadow to get upset and run every day. No, it was terrible. They need the Shadow to run and give the Eclipse cannon energy to shoot the laser. You literally had that run on Shadow. Okay, so then the Eclipse cannon, they got the new suits. They got dressed, and I'm like, oh, nice. It looked nice, but I was already out of the movie. And then, so Sonic is flying up to the Eclipse cannon. He broke in the window and immediately went after Shadow. Like, ooh, cool. Funny, epic fight scene. Sonic may have a chance. The fight was over within a minute. And all of the moves that was done during that fight was stolen. Like, Shadow immediately knocked the Chaos Emeralds out of Sonic. Which, with Super Sonic, Shadow should have been even able to touch Sonic. He should have immediately won that fight. But he knocked the Emeralds out. Then they both went, he went Super Sonic and they went Super Sonic, Super Shadow. Or Gold Sonic and Silver Shadow, or whatever. They fought. I literally know every single move they did. First, one of the first move, they hit to the chest, knock him out, grab him, slam him, throw him. Immediately stolen move. That's stolen move. And everybody know that move. That's stolen. Next, they flew up, did a Superman punch. So, Superman punch. Okay, if you let's see if I can pull it up. Superman punch. And Man of Steel. If you don't know what the Superman punch is, It's when Superman flies at them, punch them, knock him back, flies back at them, bent, punch them with the other arm, knock him back, fly back at him again, punch with the other arm. They stole that. Literally, the whole fight was stolen from other fights, and I'm like, yeah, no, there was nothing interesting about the fight. And then they broke a mountain. They broke what's that? Stonehenge. They broke a lot of historic things. They would have been banned from every single government in the world. They would have not been able to live on the earth at all because the amount of stuff they broke cost trillions. And then they flew back to the moon. And Shadow just wanted to die. Okay, emo, whatever. He's like, do it, do it, do it. I'm like, yeah, what? Sonic should have won this fight from the start. Shouldn't have been even able to be hit by Shadow. But Shadow hit him. Now KIM, they went super. The fight was over that fast. It was just over. And people was like, oh, live and learn play for 50 seconds. When they were talking everything, they went super again. They did the dap and everything. I'm like, yeah, they already went super. This was disappointing to see it again. That was not impactful. It had no impact. They already went super. So the dap didn't have any impact. And Live and Learn started playing. It lasted for 50 seconds. About 30 to 35 of that. Didn't even know it was playing until I heard because they did an introduction. Didn't even know it was playing. I'm like, oh, this is Live and Learn. By the time I noticed it was playing, it was over. Disappointed. So they started playing the rest of these songs, in the last little bit. As you can see, other songs last longer than Live and Learn. Majority of songs last longer than Live and Learn. There was a few songs that was a little bit shorter, but like it's in the bottom of the length of the songs that was played. Like, okay, let's look at this. One, two, three. Let me double check. One, two, three, three, four. Four of the songs. Four out of 33 songs was longer than Live and Learn. I mean, shorter than Live and Learn. So 33 songs, four of them was longer. That means 38 songs in the movie last longer than Live and Learn. 28, yeah, 28 songs last longer than Live and Learn. It would have been 29 in how long they were. And I didn't notice most of these songs. Majority of these songs, I had no idea what played, didn't feel any impact for them. Because then I'd look back, they were so short, and that's why I didn't notice any of them. Like, as soon as I noticed the song was going on, it was over. And then some songs lasted way too long. And by the time I noticed them, I was already checked out. It's terrible. Live and Learn lasts 50 seconds, and then they fought more drones. Not needed. Fight was not needed at all. Yeah, this is Live and Learn. This was playing before. This is when they had a fight. Most of this, they were talking. The fight lasts about 1 minute. and it was over. Then it went to they stopped, live and learn. This had more impact, but I was already out of the movie. So they fought drones, more drones. I don't. Okay, whatever. During that same fight where Sonic and Shadow was fighting, um, Ivo and Gerald started fighting. That fight was terrible. He was a scorpion, and Ivo was a mantis. So, Scorpion Mantis, if you don't know, Scorpion is from Mortal Kombat, Mantis is from Guardian of the Galaxy. Those are the reference. Yay. Didn't really mind, didn't really care. In the wild, Scorpion and Mantis rarely ever fight, but whatever. He said, before that, he said, put up defense. Autocorrects put up defense or defense, depending on where you are, how you say it. It put up a fence and they put up a protection, like defense. So, whatever. Immediately after that, flip back over, the fence is gone. Where did the fence go? No idea. So they went to fight. Little impact on the fight. Very short fight. He got knocked over. And they did a whole scene where I want to say something or whatever, but now that you ruined it, I don't want to say it. So he dumped on his fix. Even if you felt that he still had another hand could grab off. Okay, so he fell. Gravity at that point would have been lighting enough for where the fall would have no major impact on him. He would probably have fell into the vacuum of space. But he did it. Because if you forgot, whoa! If you forgot all this time, they have ranks that allow them to open up wormholes between two locations and fly and just travel up to them. You know where the egg clips cannon was, so they could have easily just used the wormhole ranks and got up there no problem. So they didn't need Sonic to go for the Chaos Emerald at all and cause all that problem. They could just teleport up there. They had rank. They just had to go and get some more ranks. That's it. Would have been on no problem. Sonic ran, got the rank, spent back, used the rank, been up there before all of that other stuff happened. So another problem. They put the ring near the edge of where Robotnik fell. They should have put it far lower to give that scene some more impact, but they put it near where he fell, which means it was off. It should have been closer to the exit. They put it around the exit, and then they flew up. Yeah, then I was like, yeah, made some impact. That was good. That gave some impact. But they put it near the edge, and then Gerald died. There was no fight. There was no struggle. There was nothing much. He just got shocked and got launched into the chaos energy um, shadow meat. He got launched into the chaotic energy shadow left for the eggs. Cannon. And then the egg cannon fire out. Sonic and Shadow held off the beam from destroying Earth. But they didn't hold it long enough for it keep it from destroying the moon. Which here's the thing. While where the cannon hit, if it hit the core, that would be a problem. But if it sliced through, No problem. You want to know why? Because, yes, all those people in that path would have died. That's terrible. That's tragic. But so as it sliced through, all that area would have heated up, then solidified within a few minutes. Mind you, the core of Earth might have been damaged and everything, caused problem, but it was just heated up and then solidified. If you slice the Earth open, it was that whole area heated up, solidified, and all the areas below sea would have probably have all that the water and everything would have steamed up and immediately became clouds and caused some storms and stuff. That would have happened. If you hit the Earth's core directly, and if it's ready to core, then it'll start a problem. But you have to eviscerate it. You have to hit it with something harder than the core. The laser wasn't hotter than the core. It would just heat it up. It hit the core and heat it up a little bit, probably a little bit more. It probably wouldn't even got through to the core. But okay, let's say it sliced through. Then what? It would heat up and then solidify right back. All the bees in those area would have died, and that would have been tragic. But it would heat up and then solidify. So they kept it from Sonic and Shadow, kept it from hitting the Earth. They didn't kept it from slicing the moon. The moon gets sliced, cut into two pieces. Again, that happened in the show and stuff. It would have been sliced, heated up, and then immediately crammed back together because gravitational pull would have just put them two back together. Some pieces for them were flown off, fell into Earth gravitational pull, fell to Earth. Some people might have got hurt, some people might have not. You know, it was just put moon rocks on Earth. The area would have been cleaned up and dealt with. So they sliced through the moon. At this point, Sonic was knocked out and fallen to Earth. Knuckles and Tails went to save him. Tails dove first because he could fly. He had a jet. He caught up to Sonic. While in the Earth atmosphere, Tails lose conscious. Yeah, Knuckles didn't lose conscience. Saved both of them. Grabbed the ring. Threw it directly in front of them. Fell through the ring. Fell in the cornfield. They were safe. So Shadow went up. After they turned it and you know turn the eggs can eclipse cannon away from Earth and save Earth that way. Knuckles and Tails were helping Robot turn it. Zero impact on the turning because you know why? While you're turning, you can't make it turn more by having more people pull on it. You could probably, at the maximum, it will go as far as possible, and then adding people to that would not add any turning capability to that. So they had zero impact on the turn. After that, this is where it gets even worse. So Sonic is falling, had no impact. Shadow went up to destroy the cannon, Eclipse cannon. Robotic was still in it. He was setting it off to explode. Mind you, that close to Earth caused a lot of damage, caused a lot of radiation, and would have caused a lot of heat for the area. Okay. He left a video. Oh, he was touching. He finally admitted his assessor was the only person he actually cared for him and everything. Finally, the since he got some acknowledgement. Great, finally, good. I'm so happy. Now, when he is about to die, it was terrible. So he's about to die, finally acknowledged his assistant. I hated it. So we find another assistant. Um, dies. We don't know if he actually died. Doesn't show him, but he explodes. We can assume he's dead. But again, it was already established he was supposed to be dead. They thought he was dead, and from Sonic 1, Sonic 2 was dead. They thought he was dead from Sonic 2, Sonic 3 was dead. So there's a good chance he's still alive. You already ruined to trying to kill off him before. Doesn't have any impact when you do it 2 times before, and he still survived. I mean, this time there's a good chance he also survived. So he's going to show up again. So that means if he's not in Sonic 3, he died. Or Sonic 4, he died. Again, it's already been established he survived stuff like this. Zero impact on if he's dead or alive. So, so here is where it gets worse. If you don't know, Shadow have inhibitor rings that keep him from basically overexerting power and killing himself. When the laser was hitting, blasting the Earth, he could have toggled off his inhibitor rings, and basically, without those inhibitor rings, he's basically at full power, and he would have able to not only protect the Earth, but Sonic would have gotten knocked out as well with those inhibitor rings. So Shadow pushed off the Eclipse of Cannon away from the Earth. Egg exploded. It was still called down to Earth and everything. Got up the moon, whatever. It exploded. Oh, now we have that end credits and everything running. And then there's the two end scenes. First end scene, Amy show up. Thought it go shot it, whatever. I'm like, they had an end credit where they went back to the camp. And this is where I know it immediately another problem. The beginning of the movie, when they first filmed the camp scene, and the end of the movie, when the first filmed the same camp scene, I immediately know it was the same as that camp scene. So the only thing they really did was change her sweater for the camp scene. They shot both camp scenes for the beginning and the end of the movie basically within the same day. I know it immediately that was the same camp scene. So his arm was now broken. Doesn't explain why. Again, if anything, he should have a neck cast on because two things what happened was he got maybe whiplash and a concussion. So him having a cast on neck made perfect sense. Him having a cast on arm, 0 sense at all. So they, had a picnic and they did, and they have the NC. First NC come up, Amy show up. Sonic O shot. They race again. Sonic O shot in New York. Metal Sonic show up. Multiple Metal Sonic didn't show up. Amy show up, not say a word, just hammer body them, and that was it. Died by okay, whatever. The movie already disappointed me. And then the second scene, Shadow is still alive. Zero impact. He grabbed his inhibitor rings, put it back on. If you had him off that long, you're fine. Disappointment. So, immediately after I finished watching Sonic 3, it was a 6 out of 10. The more I thought about it, the more, like, first few scenes, I had took off half a point. Then the more I went on and on and on and on to watch it, the more I took off half a point every single time. Sonic Team has zero impact on anything. They not only had zero impact, they literally caused most of the problems. If they didn't show up to Hong Kong, Tokyo, and all of that from the start, if they didn't show up to that area at all, Shadow would have left. If they didn't chase him, they wouldn't have been a blackout. If they didn't show up to the bunker, uh, if they didn't show up, Ivor or Biden would have got caught in end of this. He probably would track it down himself. No problems. They wouldn't have got the second key if they didn't went to Ivor Robotnik. They wouldn't have wouldn't have got captured in the military bunker. They wouldn't have destroyed Big Ben. They wouldn't have broke the barrier to break in. They wouldn't have let Shadow in. They wouldn't have got caught and gave got Shadow and Ivor and Jabba had got both keys. Literally, if Sonic team did not go in at all, did not do anything, the movie would have been better off. If all they did was show up to the final scene, fought. If they all they did was show up to the final scene and fought uh Ivo, Robotnik, and Shadow. That's all they had to do. It wouldn't have even got to that scene because none of that stuff previous would have happened. So Sonic 3 for me went from a 6 out of 10, barely decent, barely have passed the 50% mark, to around a 3 to 4 out of 10 because it was just that bad of a movie. Sonic 3 was a terrible movie. People like it's so peak and everything. I watched it and it was so disappointing. If you look at it outside, Sonic team had negative impact on the movie. If they just stayed away, the movie would have been better off. It was a Travis of a movie. It was terrible from every point of the movie. It was a giant disappointment. It get 3 points for just existing, and it get 3 points for just being the third movie. It get 1 point for making it to the end. At most, it get a 4 out of 10. It was a disappointment. I can't stress it enough. The movie was not good at all. And that's why Mufasa made more than it at the box. It was terrible. It was not good. It was a giant disappointment. Also, I'm going to go lead on this later. So that was the last movie I watched. It was a giant disappointment. Okay. Now